Hello guys. Hi, thank you guys for coming to my channel and for finding this video. And if this is your first time at the channel, it's my love it list. I know my channel says bucket list, but I really think it's the love it list because things that you just want to do, experience, how to live your best life, and really like to tackle either the city that you're in or on trips. So this channel is just really all about the things that I want to try, things I have tried, and I really just like try to tell people the things that you are all asking before you go that you don't always see in I guess on blogs or on the websites for some of the companies. So anyway, today I want to get into I had a couple of videos that I said I was going to do as follow-ups to the Viking trip that I posted a few videos on. So for some of you guys, if y'all are obsessed and you're trying to like find out everything that you possibly can about Viking, then this video is for you. And if you are wondering like how many Viking videos is she gonna do, I don't know. It might be a lot, but I do have some upcoming trips that I'm going to talk about too. So stay tuned on those videos because if you're looking for your next best vacation, I really love Vedanta properties. And in a month, I'll be doing an entire tour of the Vedanta properties, talking about the villa that we're going to stay in. And so stay tuned for that. That's going to be Cancun. And I have a lot that I want to say on that. But this video that we're talking about today is a couple of things about, is it worth the money, right? I mean, is it worth the money? Like, I work hard, I play hard, I love vacations, but I know that sometimes you're really having to decide, is it worth the money? There are some people that they make it a priority. They're not really looking at the cost. For them, either you grew up traveling, your family always made it a priority, or maybe you just have like amazing amounts of discretionary income. So maybe you're not having to like make the decision on if it's worth it. If you're one of those people, I love you. But the reality is, you know, sometimes you're like looking at it and trying to make decisions. And if people haven't gone on those trips before, well, who do you get your opinions from? Right here. So this is a good time for you guys to hit the notification bell so you can find out when I post more videos. And then also like and subscribe to this video so you can stay up to date on more content on all things that you can love to do. So take a pause. Have you subscribed? Okay, great. So is it worth the money? So if you guys are on this channel and you're talking and looking at Viking cruises, you probably have gotten sticker shock, right? It is extremely pricey. So what we do know is that Viking is one of the top cruise lines, but what some people don't know is really like how they get to their costs. Is it worth it? And the other thing that I want to share is we didn't know this, but when we booked our trip, we actually had to pay for the entire trip in like within 30 days. So there are other cruise lines that I know will like let you pay it out. You know, there's payment plans and things like that. We had no idea that not only was the trip close to $17,000 for two people, but when you book within, I think, a year of your departure date, you only have like until the year mark. So for instance, for us, we made the decision in November. We had 30 days to pay for the entire trip. So that's one thing that you just want to keep in mind. So a little hack I would like to just suggest is if you are going on Viking, you may be better off on booking through a travel agent, just simply for the fact that you could probably like make payments. And if you're like me, I'd rather keep my own money and get the interest off of it instead of giving the money away not even a day sooner. So just saving you a little money on that. But let me just break down on if it's worth it. So I already mentioned a big number. I didn't do that to name drop, or whatever, just drop to floss, to flex, but because you really need to know, right? Because it is fairly expensive. And then you'll see different things like Carnival, $700 for a trip, and then you see this big expensive price tag. So first and foremost, I think it depends on how you like to travel. But if you just want the opportunity to go and get away and maybe have some drinks that you could also have on your kitchen counter, then certainly you can just take a quick trip on any cruise, and spend $700, $1,200. Absolutely. If you just want the experience of getting away, then there is absolutely nothing wrong in that. I think that there are times for small trips and there are times for big trips. I personally look at trying to do like 3 or 4 small trips a year and then 2 or 3 bigger trips. So for me, the smaller trips are like under $2,000, and then the bigger trips are like bigger than that. So I think that there's a time and a place for everything, and especially if you're traveling with a group or a wedding or girls trip or something like that. I mean, well, not girls trip, because a lot of women have like amazing trips, but you get the point. You have to manage to the middle or to the group that you're going with. So just quickly, I completely think that the Viking price tag is worth the cost. However, I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why, but I'm also going to tell you how to shave some of the price down, because even though I do think that it was worth it, I did find some ways that we could work around the cost just a bit. So first thing that I learned about the cost of the trip is that there are some things that you probably don't have to have at a premium. So for us, we did book in at a very high floor. For us, it was floor 6 out of 7. So we were on the second highest level, which is like a penthouse veranda. For us, going on our first trip, we very rarely want to get it wrong. And so we'll usually like spend more or book into higher, rooms, things like that, because that way I can like look and see how everything works, and I can come back and tell you guys really how you can like kind of shave some corners if you'd like. And so this is the very first thing I would say, is that we found out from a lot of the people that we spent time with on the trip, is that especially if they had traveled on Viking before, they actually booked in at maybe like floor number 3, and they were upgraded to like floor 5. So in a lot of cases, there were a number of people who just simply paid the level 3 rate, and they got upgraded 2 floors. That's like the difference of probably $1,500 there. So next time when we book in, we will definitely book in at a lower floor and just roll the dice that we're going to get upgraded to a higher floor. So let's just talk about the floor situation. Just like anything, you put penthouse on it or you put a different title on it, and it feels like it's just where you need to spend the most money. But I will say that the one thing that's really amazing about Viking is that some of the things that really differentiate the floor levels on other cruise lines, you don't really have that much of a difference between levels 1 through 7. And I think that's really important, because it's kind of like going to Neiman Marcus and saying, oh, I don't know if I want to get the thing that's on sale. I mean, you're at Neiman Marcus, right? So let's just kind of keep it in context. So on the Viking Cruise Line, I think overall you're going to be fine regardless of what floor you book in. And if it's going to be a deal breaker between going and not going, book in at the cheapest rate. You're going to love it. Absolutely love it. One thing that's also a big differentiator is that every cabin has a balcony and I guess they call it basically a veranda. So you don't really have the main issue that you have on other cruise lines, which is that kind of that claustrophobia feel where you don't have a window, you can't see outside. And on that point, there was not one moment that I felt anything close to claustrophobia. As a matter of fact, the cabin that we stayed in was probably 2 times as large as the average hotel room in New York. So I'm just kind of putting that out there, that in terms of the mindset, if you're thinking of the old cruise days, the rooms are much, much, much larger. So I didn't have that as a problem at all. So a couple of other reasons that I want to just point out that I think that it's worth it is because there were no additional fees. So you hear the word all-inclusive, and if you're like me, I never trust all-inclusive. Maybe I just have trust issues, but I've stayed at a lot of all-inclusive properties, and there's like the asterisks that are on the menus, right? The little tricky asterisks is like, oh, if you want meat, that's extra. If you want, you know, if you want wine, it's extra. If you want salad, it's extra. So with the Viking Cruise Line, it's all in. There are no asterisks. There are no side doors for the people that paid this or whatever. It's all in. So for instance, one night is a lobster night. Lobster, unlimited, period, right? It's not if you spend $15 extra, if you spend $40 extra, if you spend $100 extra, all in. Steak restaurant, 5-star, absolutely all in. There's not one cut of meat that you get that's included and another cut of meat that you get if you pay $50 extra. And you guys know what I'm talking about. So these are the fine print details that they don't always tell you on some of the other lines. So I'm just doing a comparison that this is close to the holiday when I'm recording this. And as a point of comparison, went out here in Dallas to a steak restaurant with 6 people. The bill was well over $600. I'm not encouraging that. I'm not saying everybody spends at that level, but if we were spending that same money at the steak restaurant that is on the Viking cruise, easily a dinner with 2 people, $300-400. And that's just one of the meals for the day. And so if you just kind of take that and you say, well, we're actually going to eat on the cruise, we're going to eat on the boat, we're going to do a 4 or 5-star dining every night that we're on at the $300 or $400 mark. With a 7-day cruise, right there, it's $2,800 that you can safely say is a sure bet that goes right off of that bottom line that you've spent. And that's just one of the meals. So adding in all of the meals, I will just say you will not have to go out and kind of like scour and look for something that you might need or want. So it's really just a preference. If you want the local destination dining, then I completely get that. But if you don't want to do anything off of the boat, you don't have to. So if you just kind of look at that, it's $2,800, $3,000 for the 7 days for just the one meal. Clearly, you're not going to spend that much for lunch. You're not going to spend that much for dinner. But just at $100 a meal for 2 people, just on the meals alone, I really think comfortably that it's worth at least $4,500 for 2 people, just on the meals alone. Just on the meals. Let's talk about that for a second. Meals are exceptional. You guys can check out the video on that about the food. If you have questions about the food, I'll definitely, do a video on that. But the other part is that the excursions that are included, I did a fact check. I actually went on to, is it Travaglio? I have to look it up to see how much the excursions that we got included would cost if we were buying them outside of the boat. And so on average, each excursion, I would just say $75 to $150 US. So those are included. So every day you basically are getting the equivalent of $75 that's already part of your paid cost. And if you want to tip, that's up to you. We did tip a few dollars on each day, but overall, if you were traveling with 2 people, again, multiply that. I know we're doing a lot of math, but let's just say safely $150 a day. 7 days if you do an excursion every day. And if you do, oh my gosh, it's such a workout. That's a whole other thing. But that's $1,000 right there. Now on other cruises, you're not getting that included. So you may have gotten a deal, but now you're going to be making choices on, do you really want to go and explore anything? Do you want to try anything? Do you want to go and get off the boat? I completely don't want those options. I want to feel like if I'm on vacation, I'm not having to skimp. So my opinion is that the cost is completely, absolutely worth it. If you were on the fence and you're trying to make a decision on going big, I absolutely recommend it. And I want to hear what you think. If you did make the decision, or if this video helped you to make the call and you decide to go, please, please, please come back and leave your comments. Thanks, and don't forget to subscribe and tune in for the next video. Hope to see you guys in Cancun. All right, thanks. Bye.